All right, ready to dive deep into the Shadow Scourge. Ivan Kawuya, ancient prophecies, elemental magic.
And a hero's journey steeped in Bugandan culture.
Oh, I am so there for those epic fantasy meets real-world myth vibes.
And what's fascinating is that Koya doesn't just use Buganda as like a backdrop.
Right.
It's woven into the story itself. It's more than just a fantasy.
I'm into that. Learning about a real culture through this adventure. Sign me up. So give us the basics. Who's our hero and what's this Shadow Scourge all about?
Okay, so our protagonist is Kabwama. He's a young man from the village of Kampala.
Kampala.
Now, not the bustling city you might be thinking of. This Kampala is rural. Life revolves around tradition, the community. Even just reading it, you can almost smell the matuke cooking,
Oh, totally. Traditional plantains.
Exactly. Kawuya's descriptions, they really make you feel like you're right there in the village.
Okay, so we're grounded in this very specific place. But Kabwama, he's not content to just stay put.
Right.
What's driving him?
He's restless, yearning for something more. Kawaya even compares him to Luke Skywalker on Tatooine, both feeling like they're meant for something bigger.
Makes sense. But instead of spaceships, we've got...
Elemental magic.
All right, gotta hear more about this magic system. What's it like?
It's rooted in the four elements, for sure. Earth, air, fire, water.
Okay, typical. B-U-T.
But there's this idea of internal mastery.
Ew.
Not just controlling the elements out there, but understanding them as forces within yourself.
Steve, so it's self-discovery, A-S-M-U-C-H as it is, like fighting bad guys.
Exactly. Think of it like this. Kawama has to confront his own WN imbalances to truly master the elements.
Yeah.
Trials, mentors, the classic hero's journey.
But the true battle is internal.
Exactly.
All right, now I'm really intrigued. So let's start at the beginning. Kabwama's life in Kampala. You mentioned Matuka. What else does Kawoya use to really make that village come alive for us?
He paints such a vivid picture. Describes how everyone works together to prepare the Matuka. Really emphasizes that community aspect.
Sharing resources, coming together, I get it.
And then there are the stories. The elders sharing tales of Buganda's history. Powerful figures who wielded the elements, built civilizations.
Wait, so magic is like woven into their history? It's not just something Kabwama stumbles upon, it's part of their culture.
Exactly. And that's where Mugisha comes in, the village elder. He becomes Kabwama's first mentor.
Ah, that classic wise old mentor figure, right? Sees the potential even before the hero does. What kind of wisdom does he impart?
Well, he definitely sees something special in Kabwama, but he's cautious too.
Right. Magic can't all be good.
He tells him about the ancient ones who harness the elements, but also the dangers of seeking power. Even quotes a Bugandan proverb, "He who chases the wind may find himself lost in the storm."
Ooh, I like that one. Foreshadowing, maybe?
It definitely adds that tension. Makes you wonder if Kabwama's really prepared for what's coming.
Totally. So we've got history, a wise mentor, but we also have this looming threat, right? The Shadow Scourge. What is that exactly, and why should we be worried?
Here's where it gets interesting. Think of it as a force of disharmony, disrupting the balance of the world. Not necessarily evil in the typical sense.
Right.
More like an imbalance, a kind of darkness that's been consumed by its own power.
Okay, so it's complex. It's tied to this theme of balance, harmony, which you mentioned earlier. I see how Kauai is layering this story, but how does Kawama even get involved in all of this? He's just a village kid, right?
Well, that's where the mystery deepens. Enter Nalwoga, a stranger who arrives in Kampala.
Ooh, mysterious stranger alert. What's his deal? Is he there to help Kawama or cause trouble?
That's the question that grabs you right away. Nalwoga has this intensity about him, piercing eyes, and when they meet, he just drops this bombshell.
Don't leave me hanging. What does he say?
Dead serious. He looks at Kawama and says, "You are the chosen one. You have a destiny to fulfill, a destiny that will determine the fate of Buganda and perhaps the entire world."
Whoa. Okay, I'd have some questions before blindly following some stranger who just declared me the chosen one. How does Kawama react?
You'd think he'd be skeptical, right? But something about Nalwoga's words, it resonates with him. Like he's been waiting for this confirmation.
He's meant for something more. He can feel it.
Exactly. And without much hesitation, he follows Nalwoga out of the village into the unknown. They head deep into the mountains, towards a hidden cave.
Of course there's a hidden cave.
It's said to hold the secrets of the ancient ones.
Okay, now we're talking. Hidden caves, ancient secrets, destiny. This is getting good. But what about Mugisha, the mentor? Does he just let Kawama wander off with this stranger?
Mugisha understands that Kabwama's path lies beyond the familiar. He doesn't try to stop him, but he does offer one final piece of advice.
Okay, I'm listening. What does he say?
He tells Kawama, the true power lies not in controlling the elements, but in understanding them. Seek not to dominate, but to harmonize. Only then will you find your true strength.
Wow. That's deep stuff right there. It feels like he's foreshadowing this inner mastery idea, right? It's not brute force, it's balance, understanding. Okay, so off they go to the cave with those words ringing in their ears. What happens when they get there?
Imagine this. They arrive at the mouth of the cave, and it's not just some dark hole in the ground. It's adorned with these ancient symbols. They seem to pulsate with energy.
Okay, Indiana Jones vibes. So what, they just waltz in and find a treasure chest full of magic goodies?
Not quite. As soon as they enter, the atmosphere changes,
Yeah.
the air crackles, and Kawama gets this feeling like something's about to happen.
That anticipation, I love it. So what's in there? Some ancient artifact, a powerful being.
In the center of this chamber, there's a glowing crystal. It's nestled amongst these ancient artifacts.
Okay.
The crystal pulsates with energy, and as Kawama reaches out to touch it, his mind is flooded with visions.
Visions. What does he see?
He's himself wielding the elements, battling shadowy figures, and ultimately confronting this force of pure darkness. It's a glimpse into his destiny.
The chosen one, destined to face the shadow scourge, save the world. It's all coming together. We've got the hero, the prophecy, the looming threat, and now the first glimpse of his true potential.
The visions, they leave Kawama shaken, but there's this feeling of empowerment too.
Right. Like a glimpse of what he could become.
Exactly. And now he's even more determined to face whatever's coming. But then, this menacing voice, it echoes through the chamber.
Ooh, chills. The shadow scourge makes an appearance?
Turns out it's been watching, waiting for someone to unlock the secrets of this cave. And guess what?
It wants that crystal.
You got it. Wants it for itself.
Classic villain move. So what happens? Does Kawama try to fight it off, or do they make a run for it?
Kawama, his instinct is to fight, but Nawalga's more practical. They're outmatched. He tells Kawama to grab the crystal and in.
Okay, picture this. They burst out of the cave, shadowy figures on their heels. This is intense. Do they escape?
Barely. It's a close one. They're scrambling through the forest, dodging attacks, that crystal pulsing in Kawama's hand. But just when they're cornered, this figure appears.
Another mysterious figure. Kaguya loves to keep us guessing. Who is it this time?
This is Kaguya. Piercing green eyes, an air of authority. She just commands your attention.
Okay, I like her already.
And she's a master of the elements herself. Been watching Kawama, waiting for the right moment.
I love that we've got this powerful female mentor stepping in. What's her style? Tough love.
Oh, she's definitely no nonsense. Pushes Kawama hard. But her training, deeply rooted in understanding each element.
Okay, now I'm intrigued. What kind of challenges does she put him through?
She designs these trials, each one to test a different element. First, there's the Cave of Winds.
The name alone sounds intense.
Imagine this cavern, winds swirling constantly, howling, buffeting you from all sides. Kawama has to find stillness in the chaos.
How do you even do that?
That's where the internal mastery comes in. Kaguya even draws parallels to meditation.
Right, finding that inner peace.
Focusing your mind. Finding stillness when everything around you is in turmoil.
So he controls the element BY, controlling his internal state. It's more than just flashy spells. It's about self-discipline focus.
Exactly. And it's not just mental either. Each trial pushes him physically too.
Right, makes sense.
After the wind, it's the pool of waters. Adapting, flowing with the current instead of resisting.
Ooh, nice metaphor. Life throws you curveballs, gotta learn to adapt. So, wind, water. What's next?
Kaguya keeps the pressure on.
Yeah.
Next is the furnace of fire. Imagine this chamber, intense heat, flames everywhere.
Oh man, I'm feeling the heat already.
Kawama has to confront his fear. Learn to control fire with precision.
Not just raw power, but mastery.
Kaguya uses this metaphor of a blacksmith, shaping metal with fire.
Oh, I like that. Respecting the power, using it wisely. Man, this training is intense. What's the final trial? Earth, I'm guessing.
You got it, the Terra Sanctuary. And this one's different. It's not about force or speed. It's about connecting with the earth, listening.
That's interesting. It's like with the other elements, it was overcoming something. But Earth is more about harmony.
Exactly. Remember Magisha's advice. Seek not to dominate, but to harmonize.
Coming full circle.
This trial is about understanding that the elements are interconnected. And to master them, you have to understand your place within that web.
This is making me think about our relationship with nature. Are we separate from it or part of it?
Exactly. deep stuff.
So Kabwama's faces fears, found